All right, what is up, everyone? We are back, and you have made it to my 2025 in the bag. Let's get into it. All right, so I've seen a bunch of people post their in the bags recently, so I figured I'd go ahead and take my turn. Plus, it's been crazy, rainy, windy. The weather's just been terrible. I'm basically sitting in a puddle right now, so I figured this would be a good opportunity. So I don't really have time to play. So we're gonna get into it. First things first, I'm using the Grip AX6 bag. It's basically the AX5 bag. I think it might have different back padding, but it has a lower like front compartment where the AX5 is a little higher. It just makes the discs go in and out a lot easier. I love this bag. This is definitely my favorite one. Lifetime warranty too, so if something happens to it, I can send it in and they can get it replaced for me for free, I believe. So super huge. Love this bag. I don't see myself changing anytime soon. Now onto the discs. I think we're gonna go putters all the way to drivers. I feel like that's pretty standard. So first things first, the putting putters. I always carry two, but I'm putting with the Exo Hard Links from Discmania. I love these things. They're basically Discmania's PA3, not as blunt, but just shallow, beaded, stable putter. These things go pretty straight now because they're kind of beat up, but I love these things. I love the blank putters, no stamp or anything, so I don't have to worry about trying to line it up or anything, just mentally. Firmer plastic always feels good in the hands, especially once we're getting into summer. I hate a plastic that, like, if I'm holding it, just feels like it's folding in there. So love these. I think this is my second year putting with them, like the start of my second year. So I don't see myself changing anytime soon. These are great. Next, I have three like approach putters, I guess. We'll start first with the newest one, I think. This is the Ricky Proto putter. I don't think it has like an actual name yet, so that's what I'm calling it. Nice and stable. I throw this very, very rarely. What I mostly use this for is like long circle 2 jump putts or like headwind putts, like long headwind putts. So just really, really stable. It's super deep, which I don't like per se, but I don't dislike. I kind of fan grip putters mostly, so my fingers fit fine enough in this, but it's just something reliably stable that I know if I like jump putt on a little bit of Anheuser, it's gonna fight out and I can just kind of stretch a little more distance on those. Next is the Berg X. I had the Berg in my bag for the longest time. I guess, bumped up to the Berg X just because it's a little more stable. I can throw it a lot harder. I think I only throw this thing forehand. Backhand very, very rarely. Like 99% of the time, it's just gonna be a little chip forehand approach. Just something that I can throw pretty hard because I'm not super good at the touchy stuff. I can throw this pretty hard and I don't have to worry about it turning over or anything like that. It's just gonna stay flat, or if it's on hyzer, it's definitely just gonna stay hyzer. Doesn't go far. Nice little kind of get out of jail-ish disc, but you know, just a fun disc all around. All right, and lastly, we have the Discraft Zone. This is probably one of the most popular, you know, putters of all time, approach discs of all time, if not like just most popular disc of all time. Definitely up there. I mean, a zone is a zone. Just, I don't really throw this backhand either. Just forehand approach disc. I'll throw this off the tee every now and then, depending on the distance, obviously. But just something I can throw nice and hard. It's probably gonna ride pretty flat, depending if I get my angles right, but just something I know I can throw on hyzer, I can throw in headwinds. I had the Ghoul for the longest time because I lost my zone, and then we ran the tournament, and these were one of the Players Pack discs I played, so I went ahead and just grabbed it and replaced the Ghoul, but I mean, I love this disc. All right, I have one more. I actually forgot. I have the MVP Watt. I don't throw this hardly at all just because I'd rather throw forehands, but if I do throw it, it's like very short backhand turnovers that I just need to kind of like, not dump, but just like harder pan, if you know what I mean. So I can throw, this one's pretty beat up, so I can like actually throw it on hyzer and it'll flip up and still kind of turn, but it's just like 30-40% power turnovers that's just gonna like fade like left to right the whole time. I do not throw this hardly at all, but when I do need it, I'm glad I have it. All right, moving on to the mids. I have more mids than I feel like I remember. I think I have like 5 or 6, and we'll just go from like most stable to least stable, I think. So starting with the most stable, I have 2 Dynamic Disc Justice. This orange one I've had in my bag for at least a couple years now. I honestly forget. So it's a little straighter. Like it just holds straighter for longer, but it still has like the reliable finish. I throw this pretty much only forehand, like like tailwind forehands that need to go in between like maybe 250 and 280 that I don't have to throw like super hard, this is the guy for it. I don't throw them as much anymore just because like this other one I've kind of been like beating in and seasoning, but this guy's just, you know, it's overstable disc. This pink one is definitely way more overstable than that orange one. It's a lot newer, obviously, so that's like gonna happen. It's lucid, but it has like the little metal flakes. I don't know if that's glimmer, I forget the plastic. Cool little Huck Lab stamp on there that we did ourselves. But this thing is like just chop angle forehands. I don't throw either of these backhand. Chop angle forehands, headwinds, something like if I just get it out flat, it's just gonna hold and still have that reliable finish back to the right. This is probably one of my most thrown discs in my bag, like in general. I throw this all over the place. I love this thing. I just like stable discs, one, because I throw a lot of forehands, but two, just because like I know I can trust discs. Like I wish I could be touchy and throw some flip up stuff and like just like work angles like super cool like Germ does, but I don't have that. So just like having stable stuff that I know I can trust, I definitely love. All right, next instability, we have this Prodigy Proto M1. This is a sweet disc. This is basically like for those of you that throw like a Pyro or something, or maybe like a Rock 3, this is that disc. I do not throw this forehand at all. This is a strictly backhand disc. And it gets very similar flights to the Justice, but like these, more like that orange one, like this just flies really straight. I know in headwinds, it's just gonna be dead straight with that fade back to the left. But like for the most part, anything I need, like right to left moving around like gaps or through trees or anything like that, this is gonna be the one that I throw. All right, next one up is probably my favorite disc of all time. Not necessarily the mold, but just this specific disc. This is a Prodigy M2. I've had this disc in my bag since 2021. It is like, when you think of a perfectly seasoned disc, this is what this is. They're pretty stable, like out of the box. This thing is a bullet now. I only throw this backhand. It like maybe touch a hyzer, it'll flip up. Depending on the wind, it might get a little bit of turn, but this thing just flies straight, falls straight. I love this thing. This is probably the only disc in my bag that like, regardless of the body of water it may go in or like kicks off into the woods, I will spend any amount of time to get this disc back. So this will be a sad day when or if it leaves my bag. So I love this thing. Next is the Hex. This is the Lozado one, like when they first dropped, when Simon went to MVP. This is basically the M2, but more beat up. So like this is like hyzer flip up to flat, turn. If I throw it, like touch a hyzer, it'll like get over quick. But like this and the next disc are like the only ones I ever get like late turn out of, which is like so satisfying when you can do it right. But yeah, this is basically like headwind. And I need something straight, I'll probably throw the M2. Tailwind, that I need something straight, I'll throw this one. All right, lastly for the mids, we have this Detour. This is fairly new to the bag, sort of. I've been throwing it a lot recently. That's why it doesn't feel super new. This disc goes so far. This goes probably further than, I mean, at least 40 to 50 feet, no joke, further than my other mids. I throw this thing on hyzer, it flips up, like, and if it's a tailwind, it just holds forever. I don't know the glide on this disc, to be honest with you, but it goes so far. You can get really cool, like left to right, like backhand turnover shots that I like kind of throw sometimes if it's too tight for a forehand. But no, I love this thing. It goes, I don't know what it is. It goes so far, but yeah, I definitely might try to find like some more like stable runs of these that I can really lay into, but I love this disc. That is it for the mids. We're gonna move on to the fairways now. Okay, so I have 9 fairways, which is way more than I was anticipating, but we're gonna try to do the same thing where I just go most stable to least stable. So up first, we have the Captain's Raptor. Not a whole lot to say about this disc. I basically just, every year they come out, I just grab a new one and replace the old one I had. So this is the Z Swirl plastic. This is just, I pretty much only throw this forehand unless it's like ripping headwind. Just chop angle forehand, something I can throw super hard on angle and know that it's gonna come back out. I mean, that's really all there is to say about this thing. Ridiculously stable, headwind fighter, get out of jail card when you need like crazy spikes or some kind of tomahawk. Not that I throw this too often, but yeah, love this guy. Up next is the FX2. This is probably my most thrown fairway right now. I threw Raptors for the longest time. I still have one, but I lose a lot of discs, to be honest with you. So this is just like your stock, stable, like your Raptor, your Firebird slot. I love this thing. This is just a cool disc too. So I might show them closer. It has a little IR on there. A couple years ago when we sponsored Ezra Robinson, I went out to Idlewild to film a few things with him, and he just gave me a bunch of Prodigy discs at the time. And so they all had this little IR on them, and I thought it was ER for Ezra Robinson, but I saw one of Isaac's in the bags, and he has these on all his. So this used to be, I don't know if it was in his bag, but he definitely used to have it, but this used to be Isaac Robinson's disc, so that's pretty cool there. But yeah, this is just flat shots. I can throw it on a little bit of angle. This is just your standard overstable forehand disc for me. Next is the T-Bird 3, another little Huck stamp. I kind of got addicted to it. I honestly don't throw this one a lot. It's kind of just there as a filler. I throw it every now and then, kind of depending on the shot, but it's kind of a weird in-between distance for me, like between mid and distance driver. So this one just, fairways don't get a whole ton of use backhand for me, but I really only throw this backhand. I don't think I've ever actually tried to throw it forehand, but just stable. I throw it out flat, and I know like it's a good headwind fighting disc, but it's gonna get back left on me. Pretty flat, which I like in all my fairways, but yeah, honestly, not a whole lot to say, just stable fairway backhand. All right, next we have the Raptor. The Raptor is probably one of my like all-time favorite molds. This one is not stable in the slightest. It's fairly new, not super beat. This is not stable at all. This is like flip up forehand, and it'll just like put like, I don't know what it is about this angle. It doesn't matter how much angle, it's gonna flip up to flat and just hold flat until it finishes back right. I throw this backhand every so often, you know, if the shot like absolutely calls for it. But again, like backhand, forehand, it's the same thing. I try to throw this flatter backhand and I get the same flight. I can't really like hyzer flip it, but I love this thing. Forehand flip up, tailwind bomber. Like if I need something to like push out like a good ways over 300, this is gonna be the disc and a tailwind for sure. All right, next, this is like an OG Prodigy H3. This is the 400G plastic that's like, they make now, but it's not quite the same. This disc is really cool. It's basically, for those that don't know, it's the numbers of a trail. So that's that 10 speed, I don't know, glide really on a lot of discs, but -1/1 turn and fade. This thing is probably one of the newest discs in the bag. I got this when I was in Portland. I forget the name of the store. I'm sure people know it around there, but pretty awesome shot, by the way. But this thing is just a bullet. I only throw this forehand. I throw it back, okay, I've thrown it backhand a couple times, but this is mainly a forehand disc. It's basically just a longer Raptor, so I'm actually kind of working in this disc to fill this spot. So they do the same thing. This one just pushes a little bit further, and I don't know if that's just because it is one speed faster, but I can just trust this one a little more in like headwinds as well. So these are kind of doing the same thing, but this one just goes a little bit further. All right, now we've got the Prez Athena here. This disc is super cool. I've been throwing this a lot recently, backhand and forehand. Backhand, it's pretty straight with that stable finish. Doesn't go super far from me. Granted, I'm not the furthest thrower, but I like this disc for forehand. This is like the first disc I really started practicing flip up forehands for like that 7-speed slot. I think that was a good starting point. So again, just like super flat, flip up forehands to flat. It turns now because it's pretty beat, but this is like tight wooded like holes that I need. Like I trust more forehand than I do backhand, but I can't like flex like a big distance driver. Like there's not enough like left to right movement. I'll throw this guy or that H3, just kind of flip up to flat, right straight. This one will turn now, but super fun learning this one. All right, my next 3 are strictly backhand only discs. Right here we have the Castoplast Falk. This is the K1 soft plastic. This thing is so awesome. Feels incredible in the hands, even when it's warm and it's a little gummy. It's so grippy that it just sticks. But this is basically just hyzer flip up, depending on the wind, hyzer flip up and just kind of push straight and then finish at the end. If I hit it really hard or throw it a little flatter, it'll get a lot of turn out of it and still kind of come back. I never have to worry about this disc turning over over and just burning. So super fun. I'm pushing this one out pretty far actually. This is like low-key one of my furthest flyers. I probably don't throw it as much as I should. I just feel like if I'm gonna try to throw far, I throw a distance driver. But yeah, I'm liking this disc. This one's pretty new to the bag as well. I actually forgot, I just grabbed this one out. Next one is the MVP Crave. I was talking about throwing far. This disc, bullet, dead straight. Depending on wind, it might get some turn out of it, but like hyzer flip to flat, maybe a touch of turn. This thing bombs. Like I've been able to like push this one out like 360, 370, which is like a lot longer, pretty comparable to what I throw distance drivers sometimes. Granted, was it a little bit of tailwind? Sure, you know, you can count for that. But this thing goes so far. It has like, MVP discs just have like infinite glide. So I love this thing. I want to try more plastics. I like the Eclipse just because it is a bit more stable, but I kind of want to try out some more Craves. I don't know if they have, you know, the different kind of runs and whatnot, but this thing goes crazy far. All right, next we have the Undertaker, another one of my favorite molds. I've just lost too many of them, so this is kind of the last one I have, this 4-claw one. This is basically the more beat up version of the Falk, pretty close in numbers, but this is like hyzer flip turn, like flip up to flat turn disc, and it just holds like forever. It might slow pan if there's like a tailwind, but if there's nothing like there is right now, this just flips up to flat, turns, and just holds. These go about the same, but that Falk just seems to have a little more glide to it. This one gets to the ground relatively quick, but still fun. And I like the 4-claw, you know, it's like a classic, you know, go like prime, I would say, Paul Macbeth era with these 4-claw stuff, so it's just a cool disc. All right, I think this is my last fairway. This is an old Prodigy. This is a F3 Proto. This is basically, I think the easiest way I can explain it is it's just like it's like an Innova Leopard. Very good like starter disc, but this is just flip up to flat, turn. Like this is basically the Falk in a 7-speed, where the Falk is a 9-speed. It's just, I'm gonna get the same flight, it's just not gonna go as far. Tailwind bomber, great woods disc. If you can just hit it out flat, it's pretty much just gonna go dead straight. You might have a little turn to it, but this thing has a lot of glide too. Like I had a Mockingbird from Lone Star, and this kind of kicked it out, so love this guy. All right, that's it for the fairways. We're gonna move on to the distance drivers here. Okay, so I have 8 distance drivers, and I think instead of going by stability like I have been, I'm just gonna go by mold because that's gonna be way easier for these. So I have 3 kind of like one-offs, essentially. I just have one. I have a West Side Sword. This is in the VIP Air plastic, so it's like 157 grams. This thing is just tailwind bomber. I don't know if this will stay in the bag. I had a sword for the longest time, and I think I lost it in Oklahoma in a pond and couldn't find it. So this one came into our used bin, and so I took it just to try it. I like it right now. I just am not a huge fan of light discs because it's just way more affected by the wind. But this thing is like flip up to flat, turnover, just pushes. It has really good glide. Maybe that's just because it's light. It's just gonna get that push from the wind a little more. But this is probably my furthest flyer. This is one that I can consistently push out to that 400-foot plus mark. So right now it's staying because that's probably my furthest flyer. But yeah, I don't know if the lightweight, I'm a little scared to like keep this in the bag. Which leads me to the next one. This is a Star Turn. Basically, by the numbers, they're not the same, but in flight, very, very similar. This is like a max weight, or at least a heavier weight one. This is an older run too, which is kind of nice. Flip up to flat, turnover disc. I'm hoping, I haven't ever ranged this one. I've ranged the sword many times, and like 430, 440 is kind of what I'm pushing that out to. So I'm hoping these are gonna start, like this is gonna start being what that sword is. Just that way, I don't know, I just feel comfortable throwing max weight discs, but this just goes, it's understable, throw it hard on hyzer, flip up, turn over, does the whole work, big S flight, and yeah, so those, it's kind of like, I guess I would maybe say it's like tryouts for this one and that one, just to see which one's a little more consistent, see which one's gonna stay in the bag. All right, and then my last one off is a Racer. I basically, wanted a beat up destroyer, and this is doing pretty much exactly that. I throw this backhand and forehand. Those other two, I didn't mention that, not it's a big deal, but I only throw those backhand. I throw this guy backhand and forehand. Forehand, he's gonna flip up to flat and just kind of ride straight with that nice finish. If I go enough hyzer, it'll get like the baby and just kind of like pushing hyzer, but really like this guy backhand. I throw it out flat, and it's basically just, again, it's like a beat up destroyer. I'm still gonna get that same finish back to the left. It's just gonna like hold straight a lot longer. This one's got a little bit of dome to it, which I guess is good. I'm not a huge fan of dome, to be honest, just because my hands, I don't know, it feels better when discs are flat to me, but still learning this guy too a little bit, just because I have beat up destroyers. So he's here to stay for now. Not 100% if he will continue, but right now he's definitely holding solid. All right, we're gonna move on to destroyers. I only have 2 right now, which is like, that's gotta be a low for me for quite some time. And I'll explain why. 1, I've just lost several, so I'm running out of the stash. But 2, I'm throwing some other distance drivers, which I will show you here in just a second. But first, this guy, this is like old pinned destroyer bottom stamp, which is cool, with this nice huck stamp. I don't throw this guy forehand. I can't put this on enough hyzer to throw this forehand. This is strictly backhand. This flies like the racer. It just gets a little more turn. So if I'm going backhand, like headwind, I might throw the racer. Tailwind, I'll probably throw this destroyer backhand. I've gotten like full flights, like hyzer flip to turnover, but most of the time I just throw this out flat and it's just gonna kind of hold to that right and then finish back left. Super valuable to have like an overstable disc that's beat up, because I feel like when discs get beat up, the glide like increases for whatever reason, but this just stays in the air a really, really long time. This is one I'm probably pushing out close to 400 plus too. Still learning it. This and the turn kind of came into the bag at the same time, so I'm learning a couple of these still, but I like this guy so far. All right, next we have this Paul Macbeth destroyer. This is probably the most used disc in my bag. It's pretty beat up, I'm not gonna lie, but it is so stable. This is like definitely my headwind fighting disc. I don't throw this backhand at all, it's strictly forehand. Not necessarily chop angles, but a decent amount of anhyzer. Pretty flat, which again, I like. This thing goes really far. This is probably the only forehand disc that I can consistently get out to that 400 foot mark. This is probably like, it's probably like a 370, 380 on average, but with a good wind, it's definitely like, I've hit like 415, 420 on forehand, which feels good. So definitely my most used, kind of my prized possession right now as far as distance drivers go, or really even discs in my bag. Like this one would hurt to lose for sure. All right, and then last up for the distance drivers, we have Rives. I have 3, so we'll start with the one here. This is just the Royal Grand Rive. Pretty beat up. This, it's funny, like I'm noticing now that I'm speaking like about all these, that I have a lot of discs that do the same thing. So this destroyer and this Rive pretty much do the same thing. The destroyer is a little more beat up, but so I guess this is probably more close to the racer, but I throw this out flat. It's gonna get some turn, it's gonna get some fade. It goes far. I throw this forehand, like I've thrown it a couple times. It's like flip up to flat and turn. But again, like sometimes that's just too touchy for me, so I'm not a huge fan. Just kind of, I'm basically, yeah, I have apparently tryouts of a lot of discs. So again, I don't know if this will stay in the bag, but I like it for what it does right now. All right, and then to wrap up here, I have 2. This is the silver lot. They're like the Orbit Rives. I got these both from Jake Hebenheimer when he was sponsored by Latitude, and thankfully, actually this one's pretty new, but he beat this one up pretty good for me. This is the one I've been throwing for a long time now, probably pushing a year. I'd say that's a long time, but probably pushing a year. I throw this backhand mostly. I threw this backhand a lot before I got some of these other discs to try out. Very similar flight. These kind of all do the same thing now that I'm thinking about it. But I throw this on forehands every so often. It's almost so understable I can't, but it's not as much as like that one destroyer that I absolutely can't. So like I throw this on forehand for like, if it's like tight wooded shots that I need to go right to left, but it's like too tight for a backhand, I can just kind of play the right side with this disc and let it like just turn all the way on forehand. And like it'll come out at the end if I hit the angle right. Rarely do I just burn this one over, but, or like big tailwinds, I'll flip this one up to flat and it'll just ride pretty straight. But this is definitely my main. It's got the number 1 on there, and then this one has the number 2. This is basically very similar to the Racer, if I was gonna give a comparison. I've only thrown this one a couple times. I'm still trying to learn it, but I mean, it's just stable rides. Jake said these were like the most stable runs, like the only thing. And granted, Jake is a big arm guy, but he said these were like the only ones that he could throw that weren't just like immediate rollers. So stable for me for sure, but still kind of learning it. So that's that. All right, so that is it for the discs. I guess a little extra stuff, we'll just dive into the pockets. Not much. The only thing I keep in this pocket are camera batteries, and it looks like some fruit snacks, but I'm pretty notorious for forgetting batteries, either in the car or just like at the store or whatever. So I always keep them in that pocket. And then in this pocket, I usually keep my phone, wallet, keys, that type of thing. And then my minis. And I also have some, I guess I have my minis on the side pocket, and then I have some tape just in case I get like calluses or blisters or whatever on my fingers. I can wrap those up and it works well. I've got a foam roller right here. I've been known to cramp in between rounds. I don't drink as much water as I should, so I got that guy in case it happens. And then lastly, we have this disc retriever here. This thing is absolutely incredible. If you don't have a suction cup one, I highly recommend it. I believe we have some, or at the very least, they're on the way. These things are incredible. I've never not gotten a disc back when I had this thing, unless it's just buried deep in the water and I can't even see it. If there's an opportunity, like I can see the disc, I can get it with this thing. Stretches out to like 20 something feet. Absolutely crazy. So these things are super cool. But yeah, I think that is it. I guess we'll go patches too. I got the grip patch, Isaac Robinson patch. I got this from him, I think in Idlewild when I was doing stuff with Ezra. And then lastly, we have the Goose with the scythe. This guy, I got him at USDGC last year. Jacob has one with dynamite on it, so we kind of got matching ones. So that is everything that is in my bag. I hope you guys enjoyed. I thought it was fun kind of going through it. I'm learning I have a lot of similar distance drivers that I probably need to get rid of, I guess. But that is it. I think Jacob's gonna do one here soon, hopefully. But if you're not subscribed, we're on the road to 2,000. We're so close. If you're subscribed to us, we appreciate you guys so much. If you're not, I encourage you to subscribe. We have a ton of videos coming, Tuesdays, Fridays, podcasts on Mondays. So we'll see you in the next one. Ozark Mountain Disc to the Moon.